Hey everybody, it's Lula. Welcome to week 8 of Soulful Smudge Sunday. This has been quite an experiment for me, this whole thing from beginning to end. I know why Spirit did this because I've been really struggling. It's winter, I'm an empath. So, um, yes, it's been really nice being in this beautiful, huge house surrounded by art and loving animals and, really cool things. But it's still crappy outside. So I've been kind of in this holding pattern, so to speak. So anyway, so I've opened the container. Everything's good. Just getting my what do I look like? I didn't even really care. I just kind of set it up. Um, but I know personally why Spirit has me doing this. So if you're called to be here today, what's bringing you here today? This is my beautiful sister Allie's little crystal ball. I don't know if she uses it for that, but I've been using it for that because it's like super powerful. There's like multi levels, multi dimensions. It's just like really cool. So, on this very quiet Sunday morning, it's dreary and rainy and crappy. That's why I'm like, I'm going to bring some color. Plus, I'm keeping up with my red. I really believe that. Because I have been noticing lately, I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about this or not. So, since no one is here yet, I'm going to talk about this. But as soon as you guys get here, or if you're here right now and you have some questions, let's just dive in. Because I can sit here and fucking shoot the shit and talk to you guys all day long. But but as a medium, it's like when you go to work, and even though those days that you have, like I was talking to my friend the other day, and I was like, "How was work today?" And they're like, "It was so slow and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's like the worst. When it's a really slow day, it just like drags on, right? It just feels like it's dragging on." So that's kind of how I feel like when it's slow and nobody's here like to interact, then I kind of feel out of sorts basically because like I've been sitting with Spirit for hours. I'm always with Spirit. I mean, there's never a time that I'm not. I mean, literally there's not. Even when I'm cranky, even when I'm crabby, whatever, I'm still, a lot of us were reeling from the full moon this last week. There was a lot of toxic energy that was released in from all of us. We needed to release a lot of toxic shit. So that's really draining and it's really overwhelming, right? And I've been wearing my red to protect myself. I've had red on every single day today, or lipstick. I'm all fancy. I'm all fancy today. Nobody's even showing up. I'm all fancy. Um, but yeah, there's a few things that I wanted to talk about, but I'm really struggling with it because we have triggers, right? So our triggers are either from actual people or they're from a song, a movie, a smell, a food, whatever. But we have these triggers. And I have noticed that the more I'm amping up I'm not dealing with people's bullshit stuff, the more I've been having people who are coming for me. And it's, to me, it makes me sad because these are people who I love very much. And they're misunderstanding like what's happening. And it's only because they're acting from their level of consciousness. And alcohol too is like, alcohol's a hard one because it changes our brain, like it changes the way we function, it changes the way we interact with other people. And I'm grateful that I've had struggles with alcohol and addiction and all these different things because I've struggled with these things, because I've had to personally go through it. It only makes me that much stronger of a placeholder for you when you are needing to talk to Spirit, or hello, whoever just came on. um, you know I'm happy to be there for you. But I am finding that there are a few people that I've had to, really close to me, that I've had to hi Lily, oh my gosh, good morning, thank you for joining. Oh, thank you, dear sister. Or I don't know if you like to be addressed as sister. Thank you, beautiful angel. um, but yeah, I want to address this before we dive into any more. If you have a question, feel free. I can read it and then come back to, we can move around. This is our show, right? But I have had a few people recently who have come out of the woodwork who have been attacking me on social media. Now, in my prayers, meditations, whatever, I can see and feel like if I'm like, man, I can really feel like someone's coming at me, even though I'm protected and I'm divinely protected. I kind of like will go into it with the angels and be like, okay, what's going on? Who do I need to send love to? What's happening? And sometimes they're just like in my face. And in the last week, actually the last few weeks, probably like the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've had people who I no longer talk to, that are trolling me. And it's, you know, this one's so hard for me. It's so hard because I am such a loving light being. I really am. But I'm also a fierce warrior and I'm nobody's bitch. Like I'm nobody's bitch. Even today, like I said to Spirit, I'm like, well, I'm your bitch. And Spirit's like, you're not even my bitch. Like the consciousness was like, no, you are your own divine entity. You are allowed to have these feelings. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to go through these emotions. I'm not perfect. The only reason why I ever even use the term shaman is because I've worked with so many of them who have told me that that is what I am. That's what I came here to do. Shaman just means teacher. I like shaman because I think it's a beautiful name. And when you research shaman and you look it up, it's like, that is everything I am. It's everything I've gone through. It's everything I've been through. And I still have so much to learn, just like every other shaman. There is no one on this planet that is above or below, or we are all acting from our own level of consciousness. But when it's one thing for people to troll me and I don't know about it, or I don't care, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's them projecting their own shit. That's them, like, they're not dealing with their stuff, so they're gonna attack me, right? Because they don't like what I'm saying, or I'm telling a story that has to do with something that happened with them. I don't name drop. I don't say, oh, this happened with so and so. I'm talking about my life, my experiences. This is my journey. I've worked very fucking hard to get to where I am. I'm continually working every day, even doing this with you guys right now. I'm writing multiple things right now. I am never ending. I never stop. I'm always going, even in my dreams, even when I'm sleeping, I'm astral traveling, I'm working. And so you can hear my frustration. So I'm frustrated because I don't feel that people have the right to come and attack you for doing something that you really intrinsically believe in. If you don't like what I'm saying about you, and you know who I'm talking about, if you don't like what I'm saying about you, then you need to ask yourself why. What is it? What mirror am I putting in front of you? What am I asking you to look at? What is spirit trying to get you to understand? Because this world that we're living in right now is not the world I grew up in. My mom and I were talking about this recently. My mom's 70 years old, and she's like, this is nowhere near the world I grew up in, and how much it's changed and how much technology has changed us. But when I come on my YouTube channel that I started over a year ago, that I have been working so hard to create this world for Lula's Labyrinth, which is actually, just so you guys know, little secret right there. Lula's Labyrinth is a part of me. It's not just my brain or my gifts or what I'm going through. It's a part of my book series that I'm putting together. And so it's really important to me that I try and do this with the utmost integrity. But when people are writing negative comments or shitty comments or putting a thumbs down, if you go through my thing and you see a thumbs down, that was from one person. And I've since blocked that person, and I'll continue to block that person because they're not allowed to come into my energy space. I'm going to come in for a minute. And Lily, let me know if you'd like to be called Lily or something else. Trolling seems to be on an increase. Glenda Sully had a box of rotten groceries sent to her. What? Ooh, that's interesting. To her, and a nasty letter. The world is getting strange. Hold on. Lily's fine. Thanks, Lily. The world is getting stranger. We have to work that much harder. Yes, we do, Lily. Thank you. I literally said to Jesus this morning, I'm like, please let my words come from love. Because this individual that's pushing me is somebody who was really close to me at one point, and they know my triggers, and they know how to bring out things in me that old shit. And I don't mind it coming there because I'll keep working through it. but the trolling is fucked up. And I said to Spirit, I'm like, there's got to be a way for me to get off the internet. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to start today, but soon I am actually. I'll put something on here and I'll put it on my Instagram when I'm actually going to go off the grid. But I am going to go off the grid when I feel like it's time, because it makes me sad. It makes me sad. And I know it makes them sad because they think that I'm saying something negative or horrible about them, but all I'm saying is like, it's something I've been trying to say to them and all my other people that I've stopped talking to. It's like, sometimes we only take each other so far, you know? But I'm not going to go back to that person. I'm not going to go back to who I used to be. This is who I am now. I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to evolve and change. That's part of why we're here, you know? And so, Jesus is like, reel it in, reel it in. Oh, I know, it's so hard. This is my muggle. This is my old life. The thing I thought was interesting too is that they actually used my old name when they were like commenting negatively. They used my old name, which again is like a trigger, right? I don't mind being called Kelly. That was my God-given name, but I feel like Kelly at this point is only for those people from my childhood and my family who love me, who know me as Kelly, and that's okay. Not a Kelly, comma, shitty comment, comma. You know what I mean? Like, I'm done with that. You know, don't mistake my kindness for weakness, because you will be fucking sorely, sorely, sorely misguided. So I'm like, give me that one for a minute, Spirit. Give me that one for a minute, because I'm just like, because I'm hurt and I'm sad, and I know they're hurt too. And I've been praying for them and sending them love and healing, and kindness and understanding. That's all I can do. I knew when I got into this. I mean, obviously, you know, I mean, I can only imagine what celebrities get. You know, like I was watching something recently where somebody was talking about. Jesus threw the trolls out of the temple, Lily said. Yes, right? Exactly. It's like, same thing. It's like people assume like that you're, you know, because you work with spirit, or that you're a light worker, that you know, don't have feelings or emotions, or that you aren't human here. You're human here, you know? By the way, I'm going to turn a light on. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay. Because when I started this, the sun looked like it was kind of peeking through, and now I'm like, it is too dark in here. Yeah, so I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling really, really hard. So I'm in gratitude for this person, actually, because they're still helping me, right? And I'm still helping them. Because even if they're mad at me, that means that they're thinking about it. That means that they're, you know, because if you're like, oh, well, fuck her, or that was, you know, what does she know? You know, it's like, that's okay. What do I know? I don't know everything. I'm not a, you know, I'm just who I am. I'm here to do the work. When I looked, it was 13:13, because I said I wouldn't go over 10 minutes talking about this. But I don't know how to not be myself right now. And I don't really want to do this show, but I want to do the show. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Spirit called me to do this, and it's because I'm so inward right now, and I'm working on my book, and I'm writing, and it's interesting because our higher selves must have called to each other to come together at this time, because a lot of my writing is coming from childhood trauma. Ooh, join us off grid. Ooh, we'll have to talk about that, because I don't know what you mean. Hold on, Spirit wants me to say something. Oh, yeah. So yesterday and this morning, the chimpanzee came to me. And so I like to call to the spirit animals. You know, they're really helpful when we're struggling with things. And so the chimp came to me. I love the chimpanzee. They're one of my favorite spirit animals. They're saying, you are reminded that every complexity you are now facing is a human creation. Things are truly not as complicated as they seem. That's heavy. The chimpanzee symbolism has arrived to remind you that your language and communication skills are important now. Trying to browbeat your opponents with knowledge and intelligence is not the way to go. Moreover, if you tell them what you think they need to hear, then they usually won't hear you. In other words, change your tactics by sharing anecdotes and feelings. This way, they can have a deeper understanding of what you're trying to say. It will also allow them to integrate and absorb the knowledge on their own terms. Therefore, the chimp meaning is symbolizing that a gentle and subtle nudge in the right direction will often lead others toward the self-discovery they require. Bam! So that's for me to be like, zip it and put it back out into the universe. And for those who are struggling, and if you feel the need, like, why are you hating on people? Why are you trolling? Why are you hating on people? You know, it's like, if you have something to say, then fucking say it. People have so much power when they're behind this computer screen. It's such a facade, you guys. It's such bullshit. It's the same thing as when you were talking about people behind their back, or, you know, thinking negative thoughts about people behind their back. And let's light a candle for that. I want to light a candle for that. I want to light a candle for positive energy, for thank you to the chimpanzee for their beautiful medicine and the spirit knowledge that we all need today. That was really powerful. Thank you. Oops, go back there. Ooh, and I think it's powerful. The moth is another spirit that energy that I work with. And when my father passed away, a lot of fucking crazy shit happened. But these moths, like these massive moths, were like coming to me. And one morning I woke up and there was 3 moths in a row on the ceiling at my feet on the, you know, over my bed. It was like bam, bam, bam. It was so profound. And it was like, wow. So when I watched this back last week, I was like, how did I not like pay attention to the fact that spirit wanted me to sit here because of the moth? Because now I feel like the moth is like my dad. I feel like my dad is like moth energy, which I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Oh wait, here we go. Is that better? Shouldn't have moved it. I should have just left it alone. Oh, look at the parrot. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but you know where I'm going with this. So spirit has me doing this right now because I'm struggling so hard with my own stuff, because every time I feel like I've conquered something, it comes back around again. It's just human nature. It's just natural. You know, it's just like, it's for us to learn certain things. I saw my phone slipping. So it's just human nature for us to keep revisiting these things until we like really rid ourselves from it. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. I have no idea why that popped in my head, but when you think about it, it was considered 1/10 of importance. Trolls, worse than we think. Yes. No, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. No, I love Jesus, and I thank you so much for that. And if that called to you, then that exactly. I just heard Jesus say, "Yay!" Exactly. You know, we're called here. We all have our own different entities and energies that we work with, and I work with Jesus because of that. Because he was this divine energy for love and acceptance and guidance, and he was a profound teacher. You know, there's a reason why he had people, you know, following him, because he saw the world as what it was and knew that it could be better, and knew that that's not what we were brought here to do. You know, it's like things, you know, change over time. Oh man, I should have just never messed with it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come down here. Maybe this is better so I can sit and be more comfortable. So yeah, you know, the trolling is out of control. And it's because people have to look at themselves, and nobody really wants to look at it. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to look at it. And I have to look at it right now, because here I was thinking, I'm innocently writing this children's, I'm writing a few different books simultaneously. But there is one specific thing that came to me since I've been here that I started writing, and it is phenomenal, and it's based on spirit. It's based on my experience. It's based on my journey. And I didn't realize till recently that it's based on me. It is loosely based on me and my inner child, who felt that she didn't have the languaging to express herself properly, and now working with the 9 and working with the consciousness and all of that, and the light, the dark. It's like this is serving a metaphor for basically who we are and like what we're going through right now. So I send you love, trolls. I send you love. And I, you know, Trolls, there's nothing wrong with a troll. Trolls, meaning like in folklore, trolls were protecting a bridge, right? They were protecting what they thought was theirs. Again, you can't judge it. It may be dark, it may not be something that we like, but so with the trolls, I don't want to sound like, oh, I take pity on them, because that sounds, like I think I'm better than them. But it's more like a sadness that they feel this need to be so hateful or they're taking things so personally that they feel like they have to say something. If you're compelled to write something, there must be something so deep inside of you that needs to come out, because otherwise, why are you writing about it? Man, I'm in gratitude for you, Lily. Thank you. So I feel like some days I feel like I'm here for you guys, and some days I feel like I'm here for me. And today I'm here for everybody, but definitely um, coming off that full moon and doing a lot of intense writing this week and having so many realizations about who I am and what I'm doing here. Um, I'm in gratitude for this every Sunday, because it's keeping me committed. It's keeping me committed to myself and committed to you guys and committed to spirit. The weather has got so many of us down. A lot of the powerful light workers that I know and I work with are empaths, and so this weather is really affecting them greatly in more ways than one. Sometimes it's emotionally debilitating, sometimes it's physically debilitating. But I'm going to channel right now because no one's here. I'm going to fucking channel. I'm going to channel for all of us. I already prayed and opened the container. We are safe. So I'm going to ask Spirit, are there any messages that you would like me to convey to anybody out there? It doesn't have to be a specific person. It could just be for like a blanket for all of us. What do we need to know for this week? Patience and timing. Ooh, patience and timing. Oh, yeah. Timing is everything. I recently was like, man, I'm 47 and I've accomplished so much for myself. But if to some people, I may seem like, wow, this is where they ended up, like this is how their life ended up. Instead, I look at it like, wow, how lucky I am to be able to live here and be here, to be an extension of the consciousness. I get angry. I get frustrated. It is so ugly right now. There's a lot of good too, though. I watched that movie last night called Wonder. If you haven't seen it yet, oh my God, buckets, buckets. I mean, bawling buckets. And I asked Spirit before that if they would just send me, something, because I was like, even though it's been fun to like watch stuff, I'm so used to not doing that I feel like it's like pulling me back into a place I used to be. When I was a little girl, I'm going to give you some insight into me. When I was a little girl, my father was an alcoholic and he was abusive and he used to beat my mother. The hardest part about alcoholism and domestic violence I'm hearing, yep, this is where you're going. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, this is a hard one. I'm like, okay. Whew. I'm keeping it real, right? When I was a kid, very, very little, how I started astral traveling was because when I was around 2 years old, I worked with a lot of healers who have helped me do some past life trauma and past life trauma in this life. When I was 2 years old, I would hear my dad beating my mom, and I would get so upset and so angry that I couldn't do anything about it, that I would just like kind of like almost like I would like burst into flames, but instead I would like just rise up out of my body and I would leave. I would astral travel and go back to the spirit world. And every time I would do that, I would bring back guardian angels to watch over me and watch over my house. And when I was around 12, my parents got divorced. And even though I was grateful because I never had to watch my mom get beaten again, at the same time, it was devastating because my dad was a really, hold on, sorry. My dad was a really loving, beautiful being. And I know him no more now that he's gone. Now that he's in the spirit world, we have this amazing connection, hence the moths. And it was through his death that I really came into my own. It's as if we were connected so deeply that the only way for me to really become who I was for my dad to die. This is my truth. This is my experience. This is my world around it. So writing this children's stuff is from my perspective, but it's also the perspective of a lot of people. I'm having some peppermint right now. So this last week, I've been working with so much childhood stuff that I thought I'd worked through, that I thought I'd let go. And I'm realizing how much more I need. I'm hearing like, I need stabilizers. I'm like, I need grounding. Oh wow. Isn't it amazing how you can just put them on your body and all of a sudden you're like, bam. And the jet to protect me from the trolls and the naysayers and the evildoers. So yeah, it's really hard for me to be present with you guys right now because I'm trying to hold space for myself, for my inner child who's trying to work out this trauma while she's writing. And so it makes me not want to do anything. It makes me, and so I got so frustrated the other day. I'm just like, okay, fine. I'm just going to like watch stuff. And I started going through and I found myself, I spent 2 hours trying to find something to watch because there was so much to watch. It was overwhelming. And I was like, man, we are like on like the highest level of look at the monkey that there is. I mean, we are being so distracted. They're doing everything in their power to like, they're like, okay, give them this, but don't give them too much. Do this, but don't do that. There's all these different things that are being done right now, you guys, that are, it's affecting us, right? Like it's affecting us. I'm like, I want my feathers. I want my strength, my friends. I'm connected to one of your Instagram followers. If you send a private message to her, we can, hold on. That was Miss Lily. We can talk about the off-grid place. I will just say spiral and I think the rest will pop up in the search. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, for us, for a lot of us, we're just doing the best we can. We're dancing and running as fast as we can, So getting back to it, I know I'm kind of all over the place right now. It's funny. I was like, man, I really wanted to smoke a big bowl before this because I was like not really into it, but I heard, no, you need to be clear. And it's funny. I feel less clear. But anyway, so I ended up finding this movie because Spirit kind of directed me to it, and it's called Wonder. So look it up. It's called Wonder. It's with Julia Roberts, Timothy Tremblay, I believe is his name, the little boy, and Owen Wilson. And it's just so profound. It's just so profound. And it's just like, there's this one scene in the movie where the little boy, I don't want to say too much, but he's disfigured, and it's the way he was born. And he's homeschooled, and then he has to go, well, he doesn't have to, but he goes into the real world and goes into school. And you can only imagine as a 10-year-old boy what that was like. And so after his first, I don't know if it's his first day of school or something, but he comes home and he cries to his mom and he said, will there ever be a day, and he points to his face and he goes, where this won't matter? And it's like, what does she say? She just looks at him. It's like, what do you say? It's like, no, this world right now is just, it's complex and it's beautiful, but it's also harsh and it's mean. And those who do not seek to heal themselves attack other people. And I'm sensitive and it hurts. And I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. Like the chimp said, I may not go about it the right way, but my intentions are really good. My heart is always good, but I'm human here too. And so somewhere between Kelly and Lula Kelly, who has created herself, there has to be something in between, you know, like there's got to be, you know, you got to do the work. We have to do the work. And it's funny because I always love keeping my hat on, but there's a part of me right now that just, I'm like, look at my hat head. I just want to take it off and be free because I'm feeling kind of, I have no TV. I was homesteading where there is a TV in every room. I couldn't find anything to watch. I found something called Homestead Rescue. I think it's meant to scare people away from trying. I believe it. No, that's what I was going to say too. Thank you, Lily. Thank you so much for being here today. Because like whatever, you know, I do believe everything happens organically and naturally. And so, you know, if this is just the conversation, then this is the conversation we need to have. Because truthfully, I felt so attacked this week. I felt attacked the last 3 weeks, but this last week, the one was like, I was like, fuck off. Like, you don't have a right to like come into my world and try and destroy something I worked so hard to build just because you don't like something I said. You know, that gets a down thumb. It gets a down thumb because you're not doing your work, you're not doing the stuff. That's frustrating to me. And I'm working through that. I'm not fucking perfect. I don't claim to be. I haven't been doing this since I was born. I've only been doing this like avidly for like 4 or 5 years. I've only been working, like really working as a psychic medium for 3 years. So just because I always had these gifts, just because I've always been this person doesn't mean that that, you know, and even though like I've come into my own, you know what I mean, like even though like I'm understanding things, I still don't 100% know everything, and I can tell it's my higher self who's slowly letting it out, especially this last week. Oh, I just heard protect your crown chakra. Yeah, see, it's so sad that I have to do that, but I do. um and that's why I wear hats all the time. Ugh, I don't know, Lily. Maybe you have something more beautiful to say that we can expound on, but I'm sad this week. I'm sad for a lot of people. I know a lot of people are struggling right now. I'm sad that people feel that they need to be mean or be negative just because they don't understand something or they don't believe in something. You know, the first tattoo I ever got was of an AIDS ribbon because it was 1995, and you know, AIDS was still, you know, it was really, really like in the current. And I've always supported the LGBTQ community. I've always supported, at one point, I was like, wow, I have like 9 friends. And this was, you know, before it was really easy to be out, you know. But I remember I had like 9 friends who were gay, straight, bi, or excuse me, gay, bi, or um, trans. And so I find it interesting that some of the people who are attacking me are people who want to be understood, who are people who want to be heard. And I held space for them. I was there for them. But like now that I'm speaking my truth, telling my story, I'm not allowed to tell my story because that upsets them, or that, you know, there's 2 sides to every story. This is just mine. You have your own side. It's, yeah. So this one's bugging me more because this is somebody who meant a great deal to me, still means a great deal to me. I wish that we could have that relationship again, but I don't want an unhealthy relationship. I want healthy relationships. It's not healthy. I lived a life where I was fucked up a lot. I drank a lot. But part of the reason why I was an alcoholic and why I was an addict in that respect was because I had no idea who I was or what I was doing. I just knew I was meant to like come here and like be this. I mean, I always knew who Spirit's like, no, that's not what you're trying to say. I should say, I always felt I was special. I always knew that I had a way with people that not other people had. I was constantly told, you know, wow, thank you so much. Or, you know, this person judged me. Thank you for not judging me. Or people would call me, thank you, new person, or hello, new person. You know, they loved that I was there for them and not judging them. Even in this situation, I'm not judging the person. I'm judging, I don't even know if you'd call it judgment. I'm just trying to understand, because I personally, like, I remember when Facebook started and I would just speak my mind. Hi, Katie. That's okay. No worries. Thank you for coming. Thank you for bringing your beautiful energy. I'm in gratitude. Thank you. But hold on. I just heard, hold on a second. I love my spirit guides, and they're so loving and kind. They're saying, I'm taking this personally. Like I'm telling that person I take it personally, and I'm taking it personally. And I've gone up and down with this. There's been moments where I did take it personally, and then there were other moments where I wasn't taking it personally. So I guess now talking about it, it's making me, kind of sad. So I'm being raw and I'm being real with you guys, and I'm talking about how it hurt me, or how I felt hurt or wounded or whatever that is. So I feel like I'm saying a bunch of nothing, yet I'm saying a lot. And more people are coming on. So if you guys have a question, or even if you just want to say hello, say hello. But if you have a question for spirit, the container is open. Please feel free. And if you are trolling, not just me or anybody else, it takes a lot. Okay. Sounds good. It takes a lot to make changes. It takes so much energy and time and space. And so spirit is kind of speaking for me. And so it's why I feel like, or why I'm taking it personally, why I feel this way is that it's my ego part of it. But also that there is a part of me that's like, how dare you? Like, you don't have a right to like come in and like knock down my hard work. But because, like the chimp said, they're not even in that headspace. Like, they're only in the headspace of like revenge or, you did me wrong kind of thing. I'm not trying to do anybody wrong. I have said it since day one. I'm an open fucking book. I've always been this way. This baby, I was born this way. I've been channeling Gaga like a motherfucker. And not only that, I'm so frustrated because I want to see A Star is Born. And Ed's like, wait for me, wait for me. So I've been waiting, and I can get it on here. And I'm like, when are you coming? I hope he comes in the next few days because I'm dying to see it. Today's the Oscars. I'm so excited for the Oscars. And it's actually interesting that we're talking about this because I used to do, when I lived in LA and I was a total drunk, I used to completely love the Oscars. I used to have Oscar parties and all that, but I haven't had television for years. I just rent things. But they have live TV here, so I'm so excited to watch the Oscars live tomorrow. You'll probably hear me talking about it, or I'll probably post pictures, but this is going to be the first time where I can actually participate in like watching the red carpet, watching the whole thing, because, for a long time that wasn't my focus, but now I feel like this Oscars is really important to me because Gaga's a part of it, and it's all about us speaking our truth. And I really commend the celebrities right now, that there's so many of them that are really using their celebrity as a really powerful and helpful teaching platform for everybody. So yeah, I feel like I want to say more stuff, but I'm just not there, and I'm not blocking spirit. It just is what it is, I'm sensitive, but I'm not infallible, and I'm not bulletproof. Anything else? Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to stay on, because I don't know if I'm being helpful to anybody, even myself right now. I have no regrets. I speak my mind. I speak my truth when it's there and it's available. But I feel like if you have something to say that's negative, or you want to give a thumbs down from here on out, then at least let it be constructive. Not just because your feelings were hurt, or because I'm talking about something that you don't like. If you don't like it, then express why. Hi, Hella! Oh, you're sad too? What's going on in your world? I think it's honestly, I know so many people in the Midwest, because I know Hella's back in the Midwest where I grew up. It's been a rough fucking winter. My sister Michelle said that yesterday. She was like, man, it's been a rough winter. I read her text and I was like, yep. I mean, so many people are struggling right now. So many people. The winter is hard on those that are in cold weather and are stuck inside. Even yesterday, I went for a walk around, town, and even though it was drizzling or whatever, I like forced myself to like get outside and go for a walk. And there's just a low energy, there's a low vibration everywhere right now. So I'm not really sure if it's a collective or what's happening. People are already talking about, Trump 2020, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Nobody can live in the moment. You know what I mean? It's like, God forbid we just like stay here and try and work this out. People are like, okay, well, that sucked, so let's just move on to the next thing. It's like, no, we need to work through things. We need to work through them moment by moment when they happen. I love it. Oh my gosh, my one spirit guide's like this, like ding 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 ding. No shit. And so they're saying like, you know, because one of my spirit guides when I was talking was like, you're gonna come back and you're gonna come back and because in my mind I was like, I'm gonna come back and look at this episode and be like, what the fuck was I even talking about? Did I even have anything to say? Did I have anything worthwhile to say? Yes, I love that. Lily said we have to work locally in real space. Yes, and real space and in real time, right? Exactly, like even this. You know what? I think I might leave it. I feel like the moth is trying to talk to us and my dad. So I'll come more center. Right? Yeah. Like, and being real about this shit. It's like, what the fuck? All this like there's this one light worker that I've been following for a while, and I'm having such a hard time, and I'm realizing like it's such an addiction. It's such an addiction, right? That all of it is such an addiction. It's because we're like in this headspace, right? We're like in this headspace that isn't really ours, right? It's one that we've co-created, but it's, obviously all of this is a co-creation. And this is where energy and all that shit comes into play, because lately part of my like, fuck this muggle world mentality, is because I go to all these different places, I'm frustrated. Hold on. There's some great stuff coming through. She's so great. I love it. Lily's saying, run for local office or support your people who do. Lots of people are running unopposed. Yes. Yes, that's true. That's true. I just read something about one of the ladies in Congress that the guy didn't even do much. I don't know who it is because I've been trying not to like pay attention to all that right now. I just can't be in that political climate right now. It's everywhere, I know, but I'm trying hard to like do this kind of stuff. And what I'm writing is part of like what needs to be injected into the world. And for me to do that, I have to pull myself out of the darkness and the ugliness and let the other heroes, come in and do that. But one of the congresswomen who won, everybody was so fucking shocked. And they're like, yeah, because he was the incumbent, right? I'm not so good on this. I don't remember anymore. I used to work in politics, but I don't remember exactly. Let's see. We want to understand why things happen and how we fit in with it. Sorry, I don't know what this is saying. Oh, we are looking for answers. Yes, Hella. Yes, yes, right. But that woman, she won. And I think because people, like I said earlier, don't mistake my kindness for weakness, because you will be really, really. I feel like I can't seem to keep this here for whatever reason. Maybe I should have just fucking left it. I don't know. I am positive though, by the way. I hope you know I am positive. Just because I'm talking about stuff that isn't super positive, I'm just talking about things that I feel need to be talked about right now. And the internet is just, it's so fucked. It's just so fucked. And I'm seeing so many false light workers that it's just, I don't know how to, I'm still working through the anger, I guess. I'm going to come out the side of this. Tomorrow I'm attending a live class with a really powerful shaman who I look up to and admire so deeply. So I'm looking forward to that. So maybe I'll get some good insight tomorrow. And by next Sunday, I'll be better, right? Next Sunday, I'll be like, well, last Sunday was hard. But people like, I have so many people I know like this last week that have sent me the most funny messages where they're like, what's going on? I feel like such an asshole this week. And I was like, it was a full moon, and because of what's happening in the world, we're empaths, we can't help but be affected by it. And so many people seek answers with me, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. It's so personal. All I can say is stay in your headspace, like stay in your, like Lily said, stay where you can. in your own space, in your own world. Because the truth is, what's happening is they gave us this platform for all of us to connect to each other. And on many levels, that's amazing. That's why we are right now. Like, like Lily, I didn't know you. Hella, I met you through, a friend. But it's like we meet each other through other people. So that's the divine greatness of the connection and the internet and all that. But the flip side of that is it's just another form of like, well, don't you want, this, or, don't you want this oil? Like I read this thing recently about doTERRA and Young Living and all these, and how they were saying how they're fake, and, it's another pyramid scheme. And I was like, motherfucker. It's like every time we come up with something really good, somebody's on the other side of it. That's the balance, right? Which is funny because these feathers wanted to come in today from my pal Rusty. All about the balance, right? All about the balance. I love these feathers. A little too close to the flame. All right. I heard a little too close to the flame. So yeah, uh, I feel like every time I feel like I get to the point where I feel really good and I know so much, and I'll be kind of like drifting on that for a while. I'm just like drifting down the river, and I'm like, I love everybody and I love spirit and everything's good. And then whammy, like something will come in, and then I'm like, fuck, and I got to work through it. And the people who are judging, the people who are trolling, the people who are the ones sending the negative energy or the negative vibes to us are those who have not decided to work on themselves. And so what they're doing is they're stealing our energy, and like vampires, and making fun of us and saying, this and that. And there's no helpful, Hella saying that she needs balance. She feels like up and down roller coaster of emotions. Yes, but that's natural though too. Hella, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly right. It's gonna be like this. I mean, life is like this in general, right? Like we all know this. But when you're going through, like once you've accepted it, like when I came out as a witch and a healer and a medium and all that, like, they were so used to me always going through different phases. We've talked about this. I've moved so many times. I've had so many different jobs, my life, college. But so they're used to me starting something and not finishing it, or finishing it and, being miserable about it, whatever it is. But this is different because I said to my family, I'm like, this isn't going to go away. I woke up. I'm not going to go back to sleep. I'm not going to, even though I want to drink, I'm not going to lie. I mean, the other day when I was writing, I was this close to going to get cigarettes and wine. This fucking close. I was so close because I feel like this part that I need to work through is so hardcore that I was like, I feel like I need to be drunk to get through it. But I didn't. Because I was like, no, because it's going to change my body. It's going to change. I know just from having a few sips of champagne at these people whose house I'm watching. I was at their wedding in September last year, and I had a few beadlets. And I say beadlets for real because it wasn't even a full sip. Like it barely wet my tongue. And it was just to toast them. And I said, I'll do it for the toast. Well, there were 3 toasts, right? But that first beadlet that went into my mouth, it was like it was like, boom, like the pinball was like, ping, 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 ping. And my whole body was like, yeah, oh yeah, we remember this feeling. This feels good. Like, oh yeah, let's get our drink on, And I'm at a table with all these people who I love, who I trust, who are my closest family here in Portland. I'm like, I remember there was a moment where I was like, I fucking love these people. I loved every single one of them. And I was like, man, I feel really blessed to have these people in my life. And I was like, I'm gonna get drunk. We're gonna have a good time. And then there was this other side of me that's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not. Don't go there. It doesn't belong to you anymore. You can't live there. So I cannot go there to escape. I have to do it through other things. Even the marijuana, it's like this cannabis. Like I said, I wanted to get really high before this. I smoked a little this morning before my meditation. But it was funny. I kept trying to pack a bowl and it just wasn't working out. I was like, okay, I get it. I'm not supposed to be high. I'm supposed to be super present. And it hurts. It hurts. It hurts to talk about this stuff. I don't want to hurt anybody. It's not my fucking intention to hurt anybody. I love everyone. However, the reality is that going through this transformation is tough. It is difficult. The class that I'm attending tomorrow it's the master, I believe it's the master class or whatever, and it's for people like myself who are feeling like, we're not perfect. We're not perfect and we don't have all the answers. It's like when someone comes to visit me, when I used to work at Psychic Sister, and someone would come in and they're like, I want to talk to my grandmother. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens. Let's see if they come through. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Well, they blame me. They shoot the messenger. They blame me because they're like, oh, you must be fake. You must be a phony. And I'm like, no, for whatever reason, your ancestor doesn't want to talk to you right now. These other spirits want to talk to you, or these people want to talk to you, but people don't care. They want what they want when they want it, and they don't want to be told how or when. Just like the chimpanzee said, I can talk all day long to you guys, but until you're actually ready to do the work, until you're actually ready to move forward, to do it, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can say but wish you love, wish you healing. And it does work, by the way. It does work. I sent some long distance healing to a sister the other day, and I asked them how they were doing because they're going through a really difficult time. And they said, oh, I actually had a really good day that day. And I was like, cool. So, I'm sending as much healing to you as I can. But if your wall is up and you won't let me in, there's nothing I can do to help you. You are in control of your own destiny. You are in control of your emotions. You're in control of your mind. You're in control of what choices you make. So we're going to feel off balance when we're doing this spirit work. It's natural. And we're going to have some days where we're like, I can conquer the world. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to take on the world. And then there are other times we just can't. Right now, I'm ripping the guts out of me. Like, I am going into the deepest caverns of my poor child's soul that watched way too many things, that saw too much ugliness. As children, our parents are responsible they're not responsible for everything. They cannot be with us 24/7. There is a point in time where we will have to leave the nest, where we will have to go out into the world and protect ourselves. And it's the tools that our parents give us that help us and guide us through that. Well, in my situation, I had two parents who got pregnant when they were 17 and 18 years old, who were children themselves, and they did the best they could with what they had, and they had my sister, and then they had my brother, and then they were 21 and 22 when they had me. I was the youngest. I'm the youngest. So they did the best they could with what they had. I had one side where my mom's side, my grandparents didn't drink. There wasn't alcohol involved, but they smoked and they ate as healthy as they could, for the time or whatever. But my grandfather, my mother's father, was very rigid. And, I've heard stories. I can't, it's hard when you see your grandpa a certain way, because in your mind you're like, but it's Grampy, like it's Grandpa. He was so sweet and kind and whatever. But Grandpa was also a man who had 6 children to feed and take care of. And, that's a lot. You have to take care of you have to feed 8 human beings. And he did not come from a very loving, caring household. So, my grandfather could be very mean sometimes, and so my mom and her siblings have their own trauma around that. Even though he was a very good father, very good provider, he was an incredible grandfather, and he and my grandmother are with me all the time. They guide me constantly. On the flip side, or on the other side of that, my dad was in the middle of 8 children. So can you imagine providing for 10 people to eat? Both my grandparents were alcoholics on my dad's side, so bad that my grandmother used to pass out at the dinner table. Like, I hear stories all the time. So it's like, what kind of upbringing was that? So they did the best they could with me and my brother and sister, my parents coming from their parents, and their parents what they had from their parents, and so on and so on and so on. So we're an ancestral lineage of them. It's like the ancestors are coming to us now, and they're trying to tell us that right now they're sitting with me. I can feel them. Thank you. My whole body just kind of went to this like really rooted place. But they were all here to learn from the ancestors and learn from spirit, and especially when we've had all these years of oppression and religious oppression and control, we're trying to break free from that. So, cry. I mean, lately I've been crying on a daily basis. Yesterday I felt so bad because I just started crying in the kitchen. I was cooking and I was baking, and I just started crying. I heard this song and it just hit me a certain way, and I was like at the counter, I was like like sobbing, and I look over and I see the cats are like, what's wrong? Like last night when I was watching the one movie, Conan was on my lap and I'm like uncontrollably sobbing and he's like reaching out his paw to me like, it's okay. And I was just like, oh my gosh, because there's, when you're seeing these children be so cruel to another child who clearly has no fucking control over what he looks like, you know what I mean? You too. It's like, it's just, you think, what world do you come from? And then later on in the movie, I'm sorry if I'm giving too much away, but this is important. Later on in the movie, there's a scene where the principal, who's played by Mandy Patinkin, and if every principal and teacher were like this boy's principal and teacher, we'd be a completely different place. But the mother, when the mother comes in of the bully, the things that she says are so gross that I'm just like, that's why, right? So as parents, you have to be mindful of what you say. Your kids are paying attention. Kids are paying attention. They pay attention to everything we do and everything we say. They emulate us. They're little sponges. I love working with the littles, but it's hard. Like when I worked with this one little last year that was like telling me, or the year before, was telling me how he can move things with his mind. And I was like, I totally believe you. And he's like, and he got all excited and I saw him go from real excitement to like, my dad doesn't. This kind of sad. And I was like, that shit, it makes a difference. The things we say to each other, you're going around trolling on people's things. Like, my thing is, if that person is trolling right now, why the fuck didn't you just text or call me? You still have my phone number. If you really, really had something to say, I may or may not respond because that may be my response. That may be my way of speaking because silence speaks volumes. But the reason why I'm speaking up now is now I'm like, no, now you're on my territory. Now you're coming, if you come to me personally, I can handle that differently. But if you're coming after me on my social media and you're trying to, speak or say certain things, you don't have a right to do that. And I'm going to stick up for myself and I'm going to stick up for all the people who are coming here that do believe in this, that do believe in structure and change and that we have to evolve. I'm sorry you're struggling with your addictions. I'm sorry that your addictions are forcing you to do things so ugly and say things so ugly. I'm sorry that you're so angry and miserable in your own personal self and in your own life. Like I am genuinely, that makes me sad. I don't want anyone to feel that way. But it takes a tremendous amount of self-hatred to go onto other people's social media and say ugly, negative things. That's my truth. I'm going to stick with that. We got a few minutes left. If you have any more questions, obviously I need to sit with this. We aren't machines. Yes, we aren't steady state things. We have to charge up with nature's energy and teachings, just as waves pass through the ocean, just as emotions pass through us. Yes, oh my gosh, that was so beautiful. Thank you, Lily. I feel like I want to say that again because it's really powerful. We are not machines. We aren't steady state things. We have to charge up with nature's energy and teachings, just as we. Why does this only let me see it for a second? Is there a way for me to change that? That makes me irritated. Just as waves pass through the ocean, just as emotions pass through us. That's so powerful. Thank you, Lily. It's true because that's why I go into nature as much as I do. Why do you think I do that? You guys? I have been walking around. This house is beautiful, but it's big and there's a lot of hardwood floors and cement floors. So I've been walking around in slippers. And yesterday I took off my shoes and socks and I was walking around because I just got back from walking and I was kind of hot. And just that connection, just for a minute to the hardwood floor, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go out in the backyard. Like when I get off the phone, thank you for reminding me, I need to go and ground myself because I should have done that before this. But that is so powerful, right? Any advice for the week? Let's see. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Lily has been our shaman sister today. Thank you so much. Thank shaman. I'm trying so hard not to do the sister, brother, and trying to do the they, but it's still something that I have to work on. So let's hear what Spirit has to say for the week. Oh, damn it. I just heard Ethan Hunt was like, our mission, should we choose to accept it? Oh, thank you, sister. She said sister's okay. Our mission, should we choose to accept it for the week, is to be like the duck. Let's work with duck spirit medicine. When you get off this, after you watch this, look up duck spirit medicine, duck spirit animal, whatever resonates with you. But just like water off a duck's back. We have to come back at it with love. Like today, I spoke my heart. I tried to put my foot in soil yesterday, but could only do a second. Oh, that's interesting. Then you know what? I just heard that means then you have to do it longer. That's the whole point. So something in your body, Hella, is fighting it. Something in your body, it's like, that last little bit, that last part of the egg, like you cracked off most of it. If something is telling us not to do something, then that is actually we need to force ourselves to do it. Now, I know I'm going over a little bit, but Spirit wants me to talk about this because it's really powerful. Don't force anything that's uncomfortable that could hurt you. Do you know what I'm saying? But in terms of something like that, yes. And you have to use your soul knowledge, right? You need to use your soul knowledge on those situations. Like, I know it's cold. I know it's cold there. It's cold here too. It's crappy. But the truth is, if you go barefoot on, like, I don't care if you have to go in the backyard and like just scoop out like a little part, or go get, I just heard you can even get organic soil. If this is hard for you, honey, one of your spirit guides just came in. It feels like your higher self actually, and is saying, then go buy some organic soil and make your own little place that you can make your own place to ground. Get some rocks, and put them in the soil. I have this one big giant rock that I like to put my feet on, like in the winter if I'm too cold to go outside. I'll take my shoes and socks off, and I just put my feet on I sit on a chair and I put my feet on the rock, but like where your weight is going onto the rock, you know what I'm saying? So you can really feel it. I guarantee you'll start to feel it almost instantly. You'll start to feel the grounding. You know what I mean? So if you're somewhere that it's like Antarctica right now, thanks, Lily. If you're somewhere that's in Antarctica right now, then you need to create your own world. And if you don't have money to go buy organic soil, then try and find somewhere that you can like dig up some soil, But it's really important that you don't just get any soil. You don't want soils with chemicals or anything in it, Does that sound good? Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's your higher self. Thank your higher self. But thank you. No, you're most welcome. But any way you can connect, even putting your hands in soil. Remember if you, I think I have it somewhere. I'll repost it. Putting your hands in soil, repot something, or go and find some plants and just find a way to connect to the earth. Lily, that is such poignant, awesome advice. Connecting to the earth. I'm missing it myself. I haven't been in nature in almost 2 weeks. I've been in this urban jungle. The only thing that I think that has been saving me is that I do work so closely with stones and crystals and the elements and my oils and, like this kind of stuff. Like I'm working with it all the time. So it does definitely help. But I'm also lacking in that. I actually was listening to this meditation, I think it was yesterday, and I had the screen up. And when I was done, I saw the screen kept rotating to different images, and it was on a waterfall. And I'm not kidding you, I was like I got sad because I miss my waterfalls. I miss my Edward. I miss our excursions. I post on my Instagram all the time, and sometimes I post on here like my excursions, which I need to get some of my soul sisters and brothers this week. I know it's supposed to be snowy and shitty and sleety and icy and fucking horrible, but there's got to be a way for us to get out into nature. I think I just need to feel the vibration of a waterfall, because I'll tell you, there's nothing more amazing than that. And actually, our spirit guides are saying any type of water feature in your house. Working, if you can get a water feature, sometimes you can get those, kind of cheapy at like Ross. I remember I used to go to Ross. They used to have them sometimes, Ross or like TJ Maxx or whatever. And you can get like maybe for $10 or $15, you can get like one of those little waterfalls, The urban stuff really affects me. I looked at my recent video and I'm seeing the negative. Wow. Yeah, right. I know, that's me too. I know. I'm a different person when I'm in nature. I'm just a completely different person. In fact, I was talking to Edward about that because I cannot wait till I get to the point where the nature is my yard. Like that's my life. Like that's where I live. And even though I live in a beautiful place back in Washington on the farm that I live on, I'm still completely covered, like all on one side of Big Camper, and then going across the other side, across the farm, are all these electrical lines. We almost didn't move there just because of that. But what helped was one of my shaman sisters said, good things travel on electrical lines too. You just have to know how to use the energy. And I was like, okay. But I still don't like to look at it. I can't wait till I have so much land that everywhere I look in every direction is there's no power lines. There's nothing that even resembles the urban jungle or the urban or the world that doesn't really feel like is mine. Spirit blames it on the railroad, the railroad and guns. Yes, but they were also necessities, right? Because it helped with the balance of other things. Okay, we're going over. Somebody told me recently, nobody watches past a half an hour. You should really keep it at a half an hour or 45 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? I feel like people will take what they need from it. So, are there any more questions, or do you have any more? I'm now at this point. If people have stopped watching, that's fine. I feel like for the people who have attended, you're also giving me a great exchange of energy. So, if there's any more questions that you want to ask Spirit, that would be great. Bye, Lily. Thank you so much for coming. I'm in such gratitude for you. Thank you, sister. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyone else? I'm gonna give it about 10 more or 20 more seconds. Sometimes it takes a minute for people to write things in. So I'm going to keep looking to see if anything's coming up. Okay, so we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to say a closing prayer. Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to keep. This week, let's work with the duck spirit medicine. Let's not take things personally. It's going to be hard. We're going to work really hard on not taking things personally. And when people are negative or mean, or they send us negative energy, we're going to push back with love. We're going to do everything in our power to push back with love. So I'm going to close this container with a prayer. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. Thank you to my higher self. Thank you to all the spirit guides, the animal guides, the angels, the archangels, the ancestors, our beloved ancestors. We would not be here without them. We are the ancestors. We are the culmination of our ancestors, our past, present, and future. We are in gratitude for you being here today. The beloved gods and goddesses, our benevolent creator, the source, the consciousness, the nine. On a personal note, my hands are so hot right now. I am sending beautiful positive energy out into the world with my big loving heart chakra. I send love to every living being in this universe, to every living entity in this universe. I send love. And like a boomerang, that love goes through them and it comes back to me. And we just keep filtering that love to each other. We're talking it out. Thank you, Spirit, for allowing us to talk it out. We send love into the universe. We inject love into the universe. And we say thank you for the balance. Thank you for the light. Thank you for the dark. Thank you to the nine who always look out for us. We are in gratitude. Thank you to the witches, the healers, and the deep down believers in love and magic. We are so divinely blessed. This container is now closed. Thank you to Michael, Raphael, Jesus, and Metatron. Thank you for being here today. I'm in such gratitude. We are all in gratitude for your work, for your beautiful light work. So mote it be, so mote it be, so mote it be. Blessed be. Oh. Thanks, you guys. Have a blessed week. I'll see you next week.